Hey, what it do? What the business is?
It is another week in the books with the On Deck TV show. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal underscore Brown if you're looking for me on socials.
Absolutely, man. And I am Spike Lou on them same social sites. Holla at your boy AB. Special guests in the building with us this week. We got Big Rich Town, aka Rich the God, aka Podcast Extraordinaire, man. We got the host of Culture Garden. We got the host of many more podcasts. We got y'all podcasts. My co-host on another week in the books. Also, best episode ever, man. Y'all go check all of those out. Rich, how you doing, my brother?
Hey man, that's a hell of an intro. You know, I'm
Yeah,
I'm,
man.
I'm getting
I
used to
took
these
it out of your
intros
book.
now when I'm guest. Yeah, absolutely. People compliment me on mine, but you just killed that, man. It's a pleasure to be
Gotcha.
here. I really just came here to hate on AB because he the only person right now. He the only person right now that actually still cares about his football team at the end of
Mm,
November. I'm over it. I'm sorry.
mm.
He's got hope. He got playoff chances. He got Super Bowl aspirations. I'm
Absolutely.
sitting here sick at the wasted talent that the Bengals have,
Jesus
but
Ah,
Christ.
I
it is
would
what
be
it is,
too.
man.
It's
Yeah,
always
Can't even
next year.
pleasure.
talk.
Ask Lou. He's a Cowboys fan. It's always
I
next year.
can't even I can't
Hey,
even
man.
talk. I gotta take all of it this year. Pause. Like,
Oof.
nigga,
Yeah, big
I'm
pause.
cut the last three games off. Like, man, come on, what we doing?
Yeah, pleasure to be here though, man. It's always an honor.
Welcome. 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 Got an action-packed
Absolutely, man.
episode, man. What we got?
We do got an action-packed episode this week, man. We talking about Lil Baby dropping two joints. Jack Harlow gives his input on one of the most legendary hip-hop groups, which is crazy. J. Cole is dropping an audio series. Cordae gives some news about her album, and there's a rumor going around about a Hove album that may bless the streets in 2024. That's everything that we're getting into on top of what we're thankful for this year, 2024. But first, AB, we've been talking about this for a long time. Dame's Rock Nation auction has been purchased. New York State purchased it for $1 million, and residuals will go to his tax debt that he has to pay for all the things that they collected this for. I'm going to start with you, AB, and then we'll toss it to Rich. I want to know, guys, should Dame be satisfied with the outcome of this auction?
Man, this is the definition of bittersweet. He was looking for 10. He wanted a 10 piece, all flats, lemon pepper. That way he could pay off the 8.5 ish that he's in debt when it comes to taxes, child support, and lawsuits, and then still take a little piece home, for the nest egg to start another business, to go buy pro kids or whatever else he's gonna try his hand at. That didn't happen. However, with the state purchasing it for $1 million, and then the residuals and the checks that come in every year, every 6 months, however that shit goes, are going to go toward the debt. So does that make him does that release him of the debt? Because if that's the case, then that's a small win. That's a lowercase W. But it's obviously not what he was looking for. But it seems at least it's a small W if it relieves him of getting them letters in the mail every other day from the tax collectors, because that bill got crazy zeros on it. I know he tired of looking at that shit. He doesn't seem to be satisfied. I know we're asking should he? He doesn't seem to be, because he's already taken to his platform and put a video out about how he thought Jay was more popular than what he is. And so since nobody came to the auction, then that means Jay-Z's not popular. That means nobody wants it, which
Disgusting.
disappointed me greatly that he hasn't learned a goddamn thing. But that's beside the point. Should he be satisfied? Man, this is the upside down smiley face emoji. That's the satisfaction that he
Mm,
gets from this. It's a flip of the coin, good and bad side. But 10 million,
Jesus.
that was nasty. Him asking for 10 and it went for one was nasty, though, in retrospect.
Jesus. Rich, what say you?
That was a perfect description. That upside down smiley face. That's exactly what it is. Solves an inconvenience, solves a problem. Not as much as you're thinking. It's almost like you one leg away from that parlay hitting for 10 bands.
Whew.
And then
Mm,
you think to yourself, you put $10 on it. You think to yourself, I lost 10 bands. Nah, bro, you lost $10. You overvalue what was going on. And that's what happened. I don't know who gave him those numbers. Y'all both did a great job in previous weeks of kind of explaining about valuation. And I know y'all talked about the Drake rumor and stuff like that. I don't know where you got 10 from. I think that was just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
And Dame a hustler, man. So part of it is assuming the sale. Part of it is building up the value yourself by talking it up. This is Roc-A-Fella. This is reasonable doubt. This is history. But as y'all both mentioned before, there's not really too much going on in Reasonable Doubt. They had the pop-up shot when like 2015 or whatever, 2016 for the 20-year anniversary, but that's really much they're not doing much with that. So Dame, it is good to have people off your back. Money tucked aside, you ain't got to worry about. It's almost just like, hey man, just withdraw y'all when y'all need it for the debt. Dame is a hustler. I truly do believe if he wants to, he can get back on it. But I want to see Dame do more work and then talk about some new shit that he got going on, man. I'm tired of hearing him talk about the same things overall. Your place in hip hop history is solidified. Go back to showing us who that hustler that you are.
Yep.
The one that Lou decided to even get in this space for, because you turn into Chatty Patty, and I never thought that I'd see it. You too much of an icon. You too much of a hustler. Go back, do something great. Then your next interview rounds are going to be talking about that.
Yeah, satisfied, no. Upside down smiley face. I agree with both of you guys. That's the perfect emoji for it. I saw what Dane was trying to do, drum up the interest around it, do the marketing thing that he's been doing since Roc-A-Fella days. Like Rich said, it made me fall in love with a character like Dame Dash. So yeah, it was cool to say all of this and to try to do these things. The double down was disgusting.
That was
Jay-Z's
nasty.
not as popular.
Oh
Like,
my
come on,
God.
you're better than that, Dame. Like, Dame is better than that. I know he is. We may not have seen it in years. I get it. People out there listening saying I may be capping for him because that's my guy, but no, he's better than this. He's better than what we're seeing right now. I agree with Rich, man. We want to see new ideas, new stuff, man. We want to see you get in that bag and be passionate about stuff and not just think stuff is supposed to work because you're Dame Dash. Because you say it's worth 10 million and I'm Dame Dash, it'll be worth 10 million. And then when it's not, oh, it's Jay-Z's fault. No, bro, none of this shit is Jay-Z's fault anymore. All of that fallout shit, that's over. You're not getting any more bail. We get it. You two niggas do not like each other, and that's fine. Leave Jay-Z name out of your mouth. Jay-Z ain't said your name in 15, 20 years, whatever it may be. So stop holding on to that so much. I get it. It meant a lot. It was a big run. We all loved it as being there in hip hop, but it's over now. I don't think though, Rich, to your point, I don't think he got that same clout in hip hop no more. And it speaks to what he said Jay-Z wasn't, and that's popular. Probably the reason why a lot of niggas want their bidding on it is because Jay-Z is so popular and they don't want to smoke with him. They don't want to be on the wrong side of history as you are when it comes to Jay-Z. As Jay famously said, okay, you made Hove, nigga, then make another Hove. I haven't seen another Hove. It's been 25, 30 years, bro. Do something else, man. Come
I'm
on,
glad
man.
I'm glad you said that. Just to clarify, his next hustle is not in music.
No,
100 is definitely not. But he has more talent.
and apparently not TV either.
Yeah, you made us pay in full, bro. Bro. Dang, man, 05, man, you had me out here buying some fucking Pro Kids of like Chucks.
Listen,
you
man.
got hustle to you. If I went out there and bought them shits because of how you displayed it, I know you can bounce back. I don't know what it is, but he got to get into it.
You got to sell dentures, bro. Fuck it.
That's crazy.
He
could do it. Some veneers.
Flip
get the
that
veneer
shit.
line popping, man. Why not? That's what you do. You Dame. Do that shit.
Get with a
man.
dentist. If this was
Like you
anybody else that would have a little bit more stature, a dentist would have got with them and they'd have a deal with like a fucking, I don't know, bro. They would have been able to flip it into something. He can't even flip the viral moments, bro, into nothing. It's Jay-Z. Dame is in the news for talking about Jay again. Meanwhile, Jay is in the news for donating money to HBCUs for financial literacy at Wharton, dude. Like Jay is like, when last time he said Dame? The words Dame Dash, bro.
At his Hall of Fame inception, giving him praise. I know we don't see the eye to eye, but I couldn't have done none of this without you. Every time he speaks his name in the past 20 years, nothing but love for Dame and what they did. He's moved on, Dame. It's time to move on, bro.
It's time to move on, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
Save it for the documentary.
Speaking to that pro kids movement, I remember I got some, and this bitch tried to clown me. You remember that, AB? The chick the young dusty chick. I met her when I had some pro kids on. She tried to clown the pro kids. She wasn't up on Dave movement.
Well, first of all, she should have clowned the pro kids for both of y'all. Why were y'all even following that?
That's hating. That's hating.
No way.
Shit.
I didn't
clown
bite
the pro kids, man.
Hey, shout out to you, man, because hey, man,
You bought them G Unit shoes, though.
No, I bought them Rocks, them S dots, nigga. Them S dots was a cop.
I wish I could get my hands on another pair of S dots.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh shit. Moving on, man. Cordae is back. Formerly YBN Cordae. He's been a little quiet lately, man. He's had an eventful like life moments, had a new daughter, broke up with Osaka. He fumbled that. Hot at him for that. His last project didn't do very well, man. From a bird's eye view, was largely forgettable for most people. So he's back with the new joint called The Crossroads. No big rollout, just kind of dropped on Friday. Not a lot of fanfare, but the streets are talking. Lou, I'll start with you. What did you think about The Crossroads, Cordae? Is he still somebody you look at as a leader of the new school, or has his kind of buzz died all completely out?
Man, I remember that first album Cordae dropped, man, and I thought that he
That
was
was
going to be
banging.
one of those dudes, man. It was banging. That shit was banging. He could rap. He had kind of a pulse on the culture. He was like something different and new a little bit. And I was just so excited about where this young man was about to go. Second album drop, as you said, it wasn't all of that. He
Yeah.
still was rapping his ass off. He's been able to do that. And then as I listened to this one, it didn't hit the mark, man. There's some good songs on here. There's some good production. He's still rapping his ass off. But when we talking about where I thought the Cordae would be at this stage of his career, we're talking about his third
For sure.
legit studio album release. And it still sounds like a nigga that plays for the B team or the C team. Like,
Mm.
yeah, you do your thing, man, but I want to see you up here in varsity. Like, I want to see you play on Friday nights, not Thursday afternoon. Like, that's what it sounds like we want to hear. And he just didn't do a good job. He had Lil Wayne on here twice. He spent some money on the features, but it wasn't no features that like brought him that challenged him. Like I would have liked to hear him rap with a Rhapsody. I would have liked to hear him rap with somebody like Killer Mike. I would like to hear him rap with people who really get in their bag so he can show standing next to them that I get in my bag too. Now, of course, Wayne gets in his bag, but I mean, he gonna do what he do regardless. That ain't gonna move you up or down rapping beside him, I don't think. And to have two features with Wayne and then he's had Anderson .Paak. So again, money was spent on these features. Production sounded great. He's still rapping his ass off. My biggest problems with the album was the structure of it. It really didn't sound like it was going anywhere, just songs thrown together. That was one thing. And the other thing, it didn't have that. It was like Luther without the curl, like Lil Luther, whatever it may be, whatever the joke is. I can't remember it now.
Mhm.
But it was the Luther that didn't quite,
Mhm.
And I wish for more from Cordae.
No, I feel that. And then speaking of Killer Mike, you said it would be nice for him to be on there. Rich, you're gonna tell us about that Killer Mike and Dave Chappelle show a little bit later on because I got
No
questions.
doubt.
And you
No
attended
doubt.
it, and I
Yep.
was questioning what the hell is gonna happen at that show. And so I meant to bring that up earlier, but you're gonna let us know about that later on. What
Yep, I
did you think
got you.
about this Cordae Crossroads project?
I agree with Lou on this one, man. Just because of how Cordae came out, even before his first project, it just looked like that new person that was going to be on the home front. Like, all right, then cool. We got somebody, one of the young dudes to really talk to us. Um, it's like Cam Reddish, man. So much
Mm.
promise, but if for some reason he hasn't figured it out, the talent is there. But I agree 100% with Lou. The first thing I thought, Cordae needs a producer. He needs a one producer album. And I think
Mm.
that's going to get him back in his rhythm because it didn't have any directions. You could tell he's trying to figure it out. And I'm still not out on Cordae. His second album was very sophomoric, very disappointing, but he still has everything. He just needs somebody to actually, hey, I've been thinking about this. I made this track specifically for you. Here's the direction you should go. The same way Hit Boy did it with Nas and kind of pushed Nas into a whole new era of rap and a whole new style of rap because he was sitting there specifically, I'm not working on anything but you. And I don't know who the producer would be, but I think somebody needs to do that for Cordae because he has a message, he has a vision. He just needs to string it along a little bit better because you have certain songs like "Oh Six Dreaming" and the song about his daughter and the song, what was it, Now You Know. Very personal songs that you expect to hear when you haven't seen or heard from somebody in a while. And
Yeah.
then you mix them in with, Never See with Juicy J. Like, those are two different flows, man. What you trying to tell us? So I
Yeah.
just want to see him kind of lock in and really find his direction. It kind of reminds me, Cole hit this point too, where you just like, all right, bro, you doing a little too, like, just step back for a second, let somebody else kind of be in the driver's seat, get you on your
Mm.
path, and then maybe that's the inspiration you need.
Yeah, y'all gotta remember he came out in 2019. He's only 27 now. So what does that make him? 22 when he came out? And he's been rapping at a high level. One of the
Mm-hmm.
few, 21, 22-year-olds that was lyrically inclined. And Cole is the comparison that we've been saying since day one. He reminds us of Cole. I must have listened to another album because I thought this shit was fire. Like I was thoroughly impressed. And I don't know if it's because of the theme and that it just happens to be resonating with me personally, but I thought the theme of the crossroads where you either go left or right, you've hit a point where you either going break up with Shorty or y'all gonna go the distance. You're either gonna take the 9 to 5 or you're gonna go head first into the entrepreneur, the food truck joint. You either gonna go to school or you're gonna go. This felt like he had hit that point of which direction to go, and I really thought that was a dope concept. Now again, there is a song or two that don't fit. The Juicy J hook does not. I don't know what that was. I don't know
But I
why.
like
It
that
don't even.
song.
It don't. The beat is cool. The song is cool in
Yeah.
its own way, but it doesn't fit the tone of the album at all. I don't know. And Juicy J sound like he said the hook over an iPhone, bro. iPhone like 6. So I don't know what that was about. But I love the message of the album. It reminds me of Big Sean's I Decided. I Decided kind of sounds like the end of this. Like I've made the decision. I just came from the crossroads and I've kind of made the decision on which way I'm about to go. I'm about to go hard here. And so that's what those two, it gave me vibes of that. And I really like that album too. So, but that also wasn't very well received. So I'm not like shocked that y'all aren't in love with it. But I thought, in my opinion, it hit for me. And I think a lot of people that may be at that crossroad is going to hit for them too. Even the bone flip at the very beginning, I thought was
Oh
dope.
yeah,
I thought that
definitely.
sounded dope as hell. I don't even like intros, like with no rapping, but I thought that was hard. So I liked
Definitely.
it, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought this shit was fire. And he raps better now than he has before. I think he's improved.
Definitely. I'm glad you said that too because I meant to make a point. I think I realized a mistake in what I did because I only listened to it once and I listened to it in the whip. This is a Saturday morning, clean the crib, sit down,
Bingo.
relax album. And I think
Bingo.
that's part of why I did it. This is not a
Nah, it's
car
not a whip.
test, ride around whip. And I
No,
think when I listened to it, and I did want to say, I think this is one of those when I listen to it more, it's going to grow on me.
it's gonna hit different.
But middle of the out to listen, I was like, man, I got to listen to this Saturday morning. And I got
You
to see
do.
how I feel about it then.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
one
a
of those
whip.
albums.
It's not a whip. Listen, I'm not gonna hold you, but when you run back, nothing's promised with the Kanye flip.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what he's saying on there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
peep the song about the '06 dreaming when he's talking about his mom wanted to make music and she was in making the band and she made it to episodes 3 and all. Like listen to all like he is telling stories on here and he's spitting. And I
Killing.
saw that he said Wayne gave him some advice when he was doing the video with him. And he said Wayne told him he should approach every verse as if it'll be somebody's first time hearing you. And I promise I was thinking as I was listening to this and I saw him on the freestyle joint, I was thinking to myself, damn, that nigga done got a little better. I was like, okay. Like he kind of, and then I read that Wayne told him that and he took that shit to heart. So he's coming from a space of somebody who gives a shit. Clearly, because he stepped his game up, even though it was already up, and he heard the shit he got from the last album, and I think he improved on it. This is one of my favorite albums this year, bro. I ran this one all weekend. I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought this shit was fire.
I want to be
Right,
clear in my
man.
thoughts about it because you're not wrong, AB. That's some good shit on here. One of my favorite songs, What Really Matters, that was fire to me. I like the Kanye joint, No Bad News, and I like Saturday Mornings with Wayne. Those are
Yeah.
some of my favorite tracks on here. But to both of you guys' point, it's a good album. He is rapping really well, but it lacks character. It lacks depth. I do hear him taking Wayne's advice, as you said, AB, and rap like it's somebody first time hearing you. But what it's missing is you mentioned this, Rich, when we got to 2014 Forest Hills Drive with J. Cole, and he kind of gave us more identity into who he was, like why I'm rapping about this house or why it matters that I'm rapping about my homeboy that hustled and I wanted to be like him and he wanted to be like me. Like it was so much stuff involved with that album. Cordae is missing the stuff. Like I needed more stuff like what you just said, AB. I learned more in your like just now when you talked about it than I did in his whole rollout. So I'm gonna drop an album in 2 weeks. That shit's not gonna work for him. He need a build up. He need a team. I like Rich's idea with the one producer.
Yeah.
He need to get with somebody on the marketing standpoint and just really help make his music more impactful because the skill and the intent, all of that shit is there. I know what you mean when you're saying it about this album. I just know that there's a lot more that could come from it.
I just don't think he's interesting to people. And I think
That's
there's no
it.
changing
That's
that.
But remember, people were saying the same thing about J. Cole before 2014 Forest Hills
Not
Drive.
well, no, because he had a classic mixtape though. Friday Night Lights was a classic mixtape. It's just that people were let down by the album that followed it. Even though I think that Sideline Story is fire. But
It is.
yeah, people coming from the mixtape, people were like, man, and then you hear that the mixtape was supposed to be the album and all that shit.
Yeah.
And so people were kind of like, eh. And then he had everything lined up with 2014. The rollout, the product, the new look, the new like all of that lined up, and it felt authentically him because up until that point, he admittedly hadn't been all the way him. So it hit different. But people didn't find him interesting. People make the jokes about falling asleep to his music still. Like I feel like people choose a side when it comes to niggas like this.
I don't know, man. For some reason, everything you said was right. But we mentioned 2014 Sideline Story. I feel like Born Center always gets skipped.
That's a fan favorite though, man. That's like a cult classic. Like, people really fuck with Born Center. I just think it's okay though. I'm gonna be honest.
I got you.
People fuck with it though.
Makes sense. I fuck with Born Center.
All right, next we have Lil Baby. He is back, dropping new joints. Wham is what we calling him now. So call it Lil Baby Wham, dropping new joints. One called Insecurities, one called 5 a.m. He also announced that his new album will be called Wham. Rich, I'll start with you this time. Did you listen to the 2 singles? It is Lil Baby finally back in his bag.
Unlike Cordae, Lil Baby don't give a fuck about this.
Okay.
He wants to. He's a hustler naturally, and I think he knows like I'm gonna go in here and make this type of thing. But he's not inspired. Like there's nothing that he really needs to say or wants to say. Like Lil Baby gonna be Lil Baby in regards of I care about providing for myself, for my team, for my family, and however I need to do that, I'm gonna do that. Whether it's social media, it's not gonna be the music. And we see a lot of that. You both have talked about this in the past, where there's a generation that say, hey, you can get rich from rapping, so I'm gonna start rapping. And if that leads to something else, it can go somewhere else. It's cool. He sounds better than what he has in a while. It's just that we're never gonna get that freestyle. We're never gonna get that 5,500 degrees. Like his best rap, I think, is behind him. I think he can still do it. He can still entertain. I would love to see him take the Cardi route, man. Just do features. I don't need to listen to a Lil Baby album no more. I just don't think he's inspired enough to go in that. Yeah, I don't think he's inspired enough to go in the booth. Like he's gonna be inspired because Thug came home. They're gonna cook some stuff up. But he don't really want to do that. Like he doesn't live and sleep in the studio. Wayne was sleeping, living, breathing in the studio. Like Baby is like, all right, man, I want to do that, but I'm not that inspired. This shit cool. That shit get burnt out. So I'll never forget the footage of him and his crew listening to Hey, like that shit was like, bro, get out. Go touch grass.
That was the beginning of the end.
And I love Baby, man. When Lil Baby came out, it was one of those like, whew, he next. And he's done it over and over. And I remember back when, I forget when this trend started, but when artists would drop albums without putting the feature list for the first like 48, 72 hours. And I remember when that 95 South came, or not 95 South, but the Cole with the basketball court on fire and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember Prada's
season.
Devil came on. Off season. Thank you. Prada's Devil came on. I didn't know Baby was on there. And the way he just came in and floated all over that, it was crazy. I just don't think Lil Baby's incredibly talented. Yes, this sounded better. I think I probably like Insecurities a little bit more than 5 a.m., but it does sound like a Lil Baby track. And I want to hear a little bit more. Not like a different sound, but I know you got more to talk about, bro.
Yeah. I think the album that started that hidden features trend was Astro World. That's the first one I can remember where we listening live and we like, damn, is that Drake? Because I remember Academics got the little viral. He was like, wait, he did the whole reaction because you hear that, yep. And he was like, oh, shit. But with that being said, I have been one of the biggest critics of Lil Baby these last couple of years. Like I said, I think that video you just named, I think that was the beginning of the end. That album was, it still did numbers because, he still got fans, but that album was terrible. With that being said, and he's 0 for like 13 in the last 2 years. Like the Lucy's just have not been sticking at all. I did like his feature on Future. I thought he did his thing on that joint. And I like the song he got with Central C because I fuck with Central C. With that being said, I thought these were 2 of his best songs he's dropped in about 2 years, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Especially, I liked 5 a.m. I watched the video, thankfully, because he had the lyrics on the video. People doing that now. So, kind of like the captions. And I needed that because he's got the auto-tune on super heavy, which I'm not a big fan of. But when you look and see, he was actually saying a little something. He was basically speaking to the fact of y'all are counting me out, but y'all are also not understanding the impact that I've had in this game. He's got a lot of plaque. He's been very successful in his short run. He's been very successful, very impactful. A lot of people sound like Lil Baby now. A lot of people walk through that door we know he's a branch off of the Thug tree and Future. We all understand that, but there's a legion of people who came in sounding and looking like Lil Baby too, and he spoke to that on that 5 a.m. and I was impressed that I was listening hard as fuck because of the auto tune, but he was actually saying something, so I wasn't tripping. The Insecurities I thought was pretty good too. These are the first songs of his that are new that I listened to more than once, probably since the pandemic.
Good enough to say,
That's
good
fair.
enough for someone who's been heavily critical like you have to say he's back.
My interest is peaked. Let me say that more than it's been in a while. Back is a stretch. Neither
He
one
was
are
talking
hits.
that he was talking that shit on 5 a.m. I
He
will give
was
you that. Yeah, he was in a bag lyrically,
and
but
flow.
yeah, and flow. But I think that registers more for people like us, people who are listening for that. I think for him to keep a hold on the younger generation and the people that made Lil Baby to all the things that you just spoke to, AB, they need more than that. And I speak to Rich's point, it's just like, you don't care, bro. And that's fine. You're rich.
Mm.
Who am I to judge you for getting in here and making money and not like being Lil Wayne and sleeping in the studio or being a nigga that care about his bars where you're gonna write them over 5, 6, 7 times and want to be considered the best at this, that, and the third when it comes to being a rapper or an MC or whatever you want to call him. Like, who am I to judge you for not wanting to be those things? Because you getting bread from this, and that's the primary goal. Like, we as old heads always say, oh man, these little niggas don't care. They just throwing anything out. Yeah. And he's doing that, and I don't know if I'm able to judge him for it. So now these songs don't hit for me. They are better. I agree with you guys in most of the stuff that he's put out recently, but it still ain't that. It still ain't when I first seen Lil Baby and heard him what I thought it was going to be at this stage in his career. I was like, Rich, I know if you listen to this podcast for a long time, AB, you remember, I remember from the Breakfast Club interview. And I was like, oh yeah, that's him. And you were skeptical, AB. I said,
I
no,
was.
dude, that's him. I'm telling you, that's him. And he came out and he fulfilled that being him. But it was almost like, man, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I can get this from right here. I can go over here and get it. I can go over here and get it. And it really don't matter to me if y'all are satisfied with this or not. And that kind of comes off in his rhyme. The pattern is kind of lazy. The flow is kind of lazy. Like the style is kind of lazy in the sense of I'm not doing this to be the best at this shit, which you don't got to. Okay, that's fine. But it ain't even doing this in the sense of I want to be good or great at this shit. It's just I have the ability and access to do this shit. People fuck with me. I'm popular, so I'm gonna get the bag, which is what the new generation
He
is for.
he's
And I
comfortable.
can't judge him for that. He's very
He's
comfortable, and I can't
comfortable.
judge him for that. It just ain't the thing that we grew up on as far as hip hop that we considered our best artists, which he is considered today. They couldn't do that. Like the motherfuckers that was trying to get it, they had to come get it every album. Like they had to sound hungry and do those things every album. And this ain't sounded that way in a long time for Lil Baby. But again, what I will say is at 5 a.m. he is talking that shit. I get it, but he didn't do anything to make the shit stick that he was talking.
He also doesn't look believable when it comes to like, you know how niggas when they rapping, they're like, I got the machismo, like nigga, the bravado. I'm the best at this shit. Anybody want to come and see me? He don't even look
Like
like that in the video. He kind of looks like lackadaisical. I'm I'm saying this because I have to almost. It's hard to explain, but it's
no,
just
no.
not
You're on the
authentic.
right track because that fits his backstory. That fits the story of a nigga who sit up at the Breakfast Club and told people, I didn't want to rap.
Yeah,
It's just all these rapper niggas were around me, Young Thug and Q from QC, or excuse me, P from QC, and all of the famous story with Coach K coming up like, man, you ought to rap, bro. Like just
yeah,
seeing how people at the studio gravitated towards him when he was just up there shooting dice, breaking niggas.
yeah.
Like, I don't do this. This is what y'all do. I'm just that much of a hell of a nigga that I can come and do this and be successful at it. So you don't have that same passion that you see from other people's who like, this is my shot. This is my thing. Like Lil Baby, I always been that nigga as far as the street lore stories go. So
Right.
that's why you get that portrayal, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. But
Mm.
he's cold, but stranger things have happened. People have had second runs.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
uncommon.
We
I
just seen
love for Lil
We
Baby
just
to
seen
find his
Glorilla
foot.
do it.
Yep.
We just seen Glorilla do this. So
Let's
all it's
hope.
gonna take is a year, Glow, and he right back.
Yeah,
We
I'd love to
we
see him find his foot, man. Maybe he could take that Roy Jones Jr. Y'all must have forgot, flip that shit or something, man. That's what he is.
he flipped that Roy Jones. That'd be crazy.
That should be nuts.
But that's what it. But look though, that's interesting that you say that. It would take something creative like that. Like we
Yeah.
need something different from him. Like if we got something creative like that and it was banging, like, oh shit, I didn't expect this from Baby. And he talking that shit on there. That's what it will take. Ain't no creativity in that camp.
I'll say it since no one else will. He needs to get back with Gunna. Don't even worry about it.
That's not gonna happen.
Gunna been cooking.
You can cancel that though. That's a
know.
rap.
Yeah, no, it's over with.
That's a Reynolds rap. That'll never happen.
It ain't got nothing to do with the YSL shit. It's over with for other shit that was said. But it's he needs that though, because Gunna in his bag. He in his season right now.
Would you take that phone call if you was Gunna? Either one of you?
Gunna has said some stuff on that bread and butter though that was real, like that was talking about Baby and his mans and it involved somebody that's no longer here, and so like it was real a low blow. So I don't know. I don't know, bro.
I'm not.
You don't need them
because they only call it for one thing at this point.
That's a favor,
and I don't need that in my life.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Gunna straight now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga in shape, bro. He don't get in the best shape of his life, bro. Like he don't give a fuck.
He's straight to thug at his footing back.
We'll see about that.
Nah, I think Thug's been gone long enough to where Gunna's made his own imprint, man. People who fuck with Gunna,
That's true.
Listen, Gunna one of the one. When I didn't know Gunna had selling out the Barclays in him. I didn't think he was like that. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, and this is after the allegations. I'm like,
he good.
He ain't going nowhere.
He good.
I still think it depends on what Thug got to say.
We shall see, man. Next up.
Gunna more relevant musically than Thug is.
I agree.
Now.
True, right now.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Give it 2 months. Give it 3 months.
Fair.
Next up, man, Jack Harlow is back. He's got a new single coming out this week. I know Lou is super excited for that.
Wow.
He was on IG playing 10 questions. Someone asked him who's the most legendary rap group, and they gave him 3 options. They said Wu-Tang, Dipset, or ASAP Mob. He didn't reply with either one. He went a little left field, and he said YBN is his favorite rap group of all time. That, of course, was YBN Cordae, Namir, and I think one other person that who the fuck knows. They no longer exist. They have since been disbanded. But I'm gonna ask you. I'll start with you, Rich. Who is your favorite group? But let's not go Outkast. Let's not go the usual suspects. What's a favorite group of yours and why? That's a little left field. A little bit.
One that was very popular but doesn't really get mentioned a lot because they weren't a true group, so maybe this is cheating a little bit. That Unit era,
man, that's my answer.
Was ridiculous.
I swear that was my answer, but go ahead.
Yeah, that G-Unit era was ridiculous when it was outside. I mean, from everything they did to the first to everybody's solo projects, the whole 9, man. That run they had from Get Rich, even before that, when you want to talk about 50 Cent as the future, to Yayo's, I forget, Predicate Felon, whatever
Thoughts
that
of
shit
a Predicate Felon.
Yeah, Thoughts of a Predicate Felon. The way 50 had to roll out, 50 was on the hook of every first single. Like, it's just, they knew it was their time, and they took full advantage of it. It doesn't get talked about enough, but that was my late high school, early college years, and I had just never seen anything like it. You know what I mean? I've seen things from a label perspective. The past couple of weeks, y'all been talking about that No Limit run, which was insane. Yeah. But from a group and just being on everybody's shit, and come on, man. It's crazy.
Lou, what you got? Who you got for a not super obvious, but a group that you maybe think should get more looks or whatever, or just your favorite?
The amount of disrespect that Jack Harlow just displayed, and this is the reason why niggas don't listen to him.
Yeah, that was nasty.
This is the reason why a nigga like Ken from Dead End Hip Hop be like, dude, do not put Jack Harlow on around me.
That was nasty.
Why me, bro? I didn't even know them niggas was a group for real. I just thought the 3 letters just because them niggas was cool or something. I didn't even know the niggas had songs together. They so irrelevant as a group. Cordae dropped the shit off the beginning of his name.
Fact,
like, what are we talking about? This is an insane answer. I just have to address that first.
That's his era, though. He young, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and I'll give you that. Like, I would have to do some research or something. This is like, he'd been better off saying something like Odd Future, because I could get that. I've at least heard of them, and I see the offspring of what those niggas became. But YBN is crazy to me as an old nigga. But for me, this the group that raised me, the group that I started listening to rap too. We received an email on one of the shows, Rich, when somebody mentioned this, that this was the first time that they had heard an album of theirs when I played it on Odd Friday with Dead End when we were doing the verses, when we did 8 Ball and MJG versus, I think it was 3-6 or something like that.
3-6, yeah.
Bro, 8 Ball and MJG have been in my life since coming out hard. Pause. Like that, I remember when my cousin let me hear that when it came out and I was 10 years old and I was like, what is this? They had me want to be pimps at one point in time. They taught me about friendship with friend or foe, space age pimping, all of that, bro. My favorite group of all time as far as albums, as well, UGK's Ryan Dirt is my favorite group album. But outside of that, when you're talking about the run and the stuff that I learned from them back when you learned shit from what you was listening to, it's 8 Ball and MJG. Like I can't I would be hard pressed to find two niggas that rap better than them other than Andre and Big Boy. Like niggas really underestimate MJG. And if you're going like bar for bar with niggas, MJG is up there with the top of niggas. I hold that on anybody. But yeah, for me, it's 8 Ball and MJG.
And we know why MJG gets looked at like that because his solo album was trash.
Solo album garbage.
Yeah, but
ooh, that was garbage.
We ain't taking away from the fact that he's a savage. I swear on everything, G Unit was my answer, but I'm gonna pivot quickly because Lou just gave me inspiration, and this is gonna make all the sense in the world. I go 3-6 Mafia. And listen, I used to bang that shit.
It was 3-6 stand.
The facts, nigga. Chapter 2, World Domination was the first project I got put on, and I went back and listened to the end and Mystic Styles. That whole sound is the sound arguably of rap today in 2024. You listen to niggas like Denzel Curry, any type of trap-ish beat right now is cut from that 3-6 Mafia cloth. So even down to niggas sampling, I remember DJ Paul said he get emails and mail every day with sample requests, like literally. He's like, bro, it's not a day go by I don't get an email for a sample request. I got to sign off on. Like, that is the sound, that's the wave that's going on now, which tells you how far ahead their sound was back then. Nigga, Duke Deuce has a song that's a Project Pat beat from 20 years prior, and it's the exact same beat. He didn't change anything. And that's his biggest song, and it's still dude. That shit was still hard. It's the same. Bro, you know how hard it is to have a beat that tough that lasts 25 years and it still is hard? That's crazy. So 3-6, I would go with them for sure. I think 66, 69, When the Smoke Clears is their best album. That's Teen Night at the Club when we used to go on Wednesdays. And what was the one in the Antioch? Fuck. Palladium, was it?
Palladium. Yeah.
That was at Antioch?
Yeah, that was where right there where media play and shit used to be at.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Man, listen. That you could damn near play that whole album and just let it run, and that would let the whole club would be hype off of it.
So night was gonna be over too. Fights was gonna happen. The night was gonna be over when they put that 3-6 on.
Oh yeah, it wasn't gonna take long for shit to pop off.
They wanted to end the night that quick. Just put that 3-6 on. And you was such a 3-6 fan. You was bumping that Frazier Boy and Lil White.
Stop.
At one point in time, Frazier Boy was AB favorite rapper. I put that on everything. That was his man's. Frazier Boy was your man.
No. You could have said LeChat. I would have gave you that.
Frazier Boy was hard. You had every Frazier Boy album.
Hell no.
If there are any, you had them.
Now we're getting out of hand. But I go 3-6 though, man. Y'all let us know in the comments. Give us a somewhat obscure group. That man, don't give us the fucking Wu-Tangs and Outcasts that everybody be saying. Give us somebody else. Let us know in the comments who your favorite group is.
Absolutely. Hey man, shout out to my brother Phil. I know he listening right now, man. He probably got a G Unit beater on right now.
He still got the G Unit beater on.
Hey, shout out to you, Phil.
Woo! Hey, real quick, I bought. They had me so locked in. I bought all of the deluxe edition G Unit CDs, nigga. That came with the DVDs. I bought all them.
Absolutely.
That was Mando. Do not show me the regular shit, nigga. Give me the fucking deluxe edition. Like, don't disrespect me like that. Give me that.
I remember the one with Get Rich or Die Trying when this nigga Banks, there was an officer nearby video shoot. That nigga was reaching for his gun and then turned around. I just remember that whole era was crazy, man.
Crazy. Niggas was outside. It was different then, boy. It was different then.
That soundtrack was fire too, though.
Thanks.
Woo!
He's a window shop. Hey, 50 was in his bag with that run, man.
That run was short too.
It's crazy how hard that nigga fell off, man. Because that
fell
nigga
off hard as
miss. Could you imagine going from not being able to miss for 2 years straight to not being able to hit for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I think
the devil, nigga.
I think a couple weeks ago, AB mentioned that the Animal Kingdom, whatever it was, bro, like
Animal
all of that,
Ambition,
and oh my goodness, that shit was awful.
garbage.
Straight garbage. Like that, and that shit happened quick too. Nigga couldn't even
Yeah,
put out a
after Massacre, it
song.
was over with.
Yeah, and we
Yeah, the
know the Chris
master was
Brown
good.
joint was a hit, Big Jeff. We know, we get it, but
That's my guy.
still,
Yeah, he had one. He had a
you
little
know,
decent little buzz
I'm
with
the
it.
man. We get
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
The
that what
theme
it's
when your
still.
best song in the last 15 years is a theme song to a TV show, it's a problem. I mean,
It's a
it's a
wrap.
wrap.
That's real.
Big dog rap.
That's real.
What we
All right,
got?
what we get next? We have, and I this is funny. All right, J. Cole is dropping an audio series, quote unquote. Why they don't just call it a podcast? I'm not sure. But he's dropping an audio series detailing the making of his songs and albums. I want to know a couple of things from you guys as far as the rollout and are you excited about this? And I have some comments about this that I want to read to you guys after you're done.
Who you throwing it to, man?
AB, what do you think?
Listen, it's called Inevitable. I saw this and was interested in it, and then I heard a clip on Twitter. Somebody had streamed because you got to pay for it. It's not free. I think it's 10 episodes.
What?
I think how many?
Yeah, you
Well,
ain't
you
know
got to
that?
pay for this?
Yeah, for sure.
This nigga's crazy.
It's 10 episodes. I think it's like $10. And somebody put a clip on Twitter and he was telling a story about how he came up with the Dollar and a Dream series, which of course has been a big theme in his music and in his live shows. He's had the Dollar live shows and all that shit. When I heard that clip and I was like, oh, that's what this is. Let me go fuck with it because this is right up my alley. It's essential. And I'm halfway through the first episode. The first episode is like 2 hours long. This is what podcasts were created for. This right here. This is what makes a podcast so unique and special. It's the storytelling that you can't do on radio. It's the storytelling that you can't do on TV when you got to play commercials and you got to fit into a time slot. This is raw, uncut, an A-list artist talking about their come up, their history, what this album meant. I remember it takes me back to when I first heard podcasts, when I first heard Combat Jack. And the very first episode I heard was Guru. Guru is an engineer who usually he's not on the Breakfast Club. He's not getting doing the promo runs. He's an engineer and he was telling stories about some of the J songs that were getting made. And I couldn't take the headphones off if I tried. Yeah. That is what this is. And I wish more artists would do this. I think this was a genius idea. I know some people were turned off that it was at a cost, but it's ironic because number one, it's a 10 episode. So if you do the math at $10, it's $1 an episode. And they seem to be hour and a half, 2 hours long. And he dropped his original mixtape on streaming sites for free to listen to. So the cost that's not really a thing to me. Artists give away a whole lot of free shit. We just have gotten conditioned the way that they're getting screwed by the fucking streaming, let's say. But that's a whole nother story. I thought listening to it, this shit is fire. I cannot wait to hear the rest of this. He's dropping them every 2 days, which I'm going to assume is going to lead to the Fall Off album. That would make the most sense. So I'm looking forward to this. A letter grade, this is an A+. This shit is fire, bro. Like this is what podcasts were made of. And salute to Cole for coming out with another dope ass rollout, bro. He's got like 2 or 3 championship rollouts under his belt.
Your mic's on mute.
My bad. Real quick, AB, you're saying that you think that the fall off will be to us in 20 days?
Yeah, I think because I think that last episode is December like 19th. I think he's gonna do the fall off to cap this off. And I think he's gonna drop more of his mixtapes and EPs that aren't on streaming. I bet he does that periodically in the middle of this. I wouldn't be surprised if that Friday Night Lights appears on streaming sites soon, and then that fall off. And this would be if this is truly his last album, revisiting the career up until this point in this podcast format is fucking flames, nigga. This is how you end off a career. This is how you do a rollout for your last album. T.I. take notes.
Rich, what say you?
I agree with AB more. As somebody who is a historian in the information business, AB mentioned last week or maybe the week before, and I texted Spike and Maurice's in the group chat. I had also went to go see Piece by Piece. And there's something about, I'm a documentary person. I'm a historian as far as I want to know what was going on in your life when this happened. It reminds me almost when I heard about this, could you imagine not have ever being able to see him fade to black and know what it was like making a Black Album? I know that's a visual, but even if we got that in podcast form, to your point about Guru, who was there for all of that, like I was going to say literally what AB said. I would love for this idea to be stolen by every prominent rapper. Because, man, if you tell me right now, for $10, I can hear what happened during that weekend when Hov made like 9 of those Blueprint tracks in 2 days. I would love to see what was going on in that studio. Here's something J. Cole got going for him. He's not out here doing interviews. His social media is for marketing only. Like, he's just not out. You see him anytime you see him, it's a fan video of him riding a bike through New York. Or at the or the street meat vendor and stuff like that, trying to get some euros, whatever the case is.
Crazy.
Street meat was crazy,
man. I don't know if I need to pause that or not. But the point is, man, before all of this went on with him bowing out and the whole nine, Cole has a story. He's a genuine person. And I would love to hear what was going on when you made certain tracks. I remember listening to Friday Night Lights for the first time, and I swear, you would have thought that I paid Cole to tell him about my life and rap about it. It was that personal to me. So I really want to know what was going on and some of the things. Like, there's a moment he talked about having the gun pulled out of him, not running. That happened to me. And I look back on it now like, bro, what the fuck was you on? But there's certain things that you just go through. And I just think that the fact that we don't hear from Cole, so it's not like somebody we listen to all the time. I want to know exactly what was going on. I'm interested in the history of it. And I think more artists should take this route.
For sure.
And I'm paying the 10.
Yeah, that's an easy call. Easy.
Is it worth $10? Yes. Y'all are not wrong. But, however, why not just put it like, if this is marketing for the album, you guys would agree, right?
It's a rollout for sure.
Just put it.
I'm assuming. That has not been confirmed. This is an assumption.
Just put it on the regular podcast streaming sites, bro. Like, don't make me download another site, pay $10. Like, the $10 is irrelevant. Y'all are right. It's worth it, yes. But for the regular everyday fan and conversion rates, and if you're trying to be successful with it, just put it on Spotify or Apple or where the fuck you listen to podcasts at, bro. Just do that. I think it makes it a lot more difficult when you put it on your own streaming service and it's a separate platform and you got to figure out ways to listen to it when your phone's closed and all that different shit. Like, it just, like, I feel like the structure is already there. And I may sound like a company man when I say that, but it just makes more sense in my opinion if you're trying to get the story out there for the album. I understand he's trying to probably cater to people that the dollar and the dream to cater to, like people that really fuck with him, that had to be tapped in and know where to go to get the ticket for $1 and know what time to come line up. I get the whole thing behind it. I do. I promise I understand it. But I think it's a little much for Cole at this stage in his career. Just make this all access or create a Patreon where it's already set up there and people pay $1 in a dream or $10 or whatever it may be. But it kind of turned me off a little bit when I seen the site solo standing by itself. AB, like I told y'all, the group chat, this nigga trying to do some Kanye shit, trying to sell me a fucking device with your album. I'm like, hey, Brian ain't doing all of that. But again, I do like it. I think it's another great marketing ploy. I want to hear it. I don't know if I will get to it as quickly as I would have if it had just been on Apple Podcasts, where it just been on Spotify and I could just hit play. I'll be completely honest with you about that. And a lot of that got to do with Cole's year too. Like, if you had asked me this shit a year ago, I probably would have already paid the $10 and had this shit downloaded. But me seeing him in this whole Kendrick Drake thing and how he responded to it, I don't want to say I don't know if you deserve my $10, but I'm a little bit more hesitant to give you my $10, my nigga. I'm just gonna be real with you.
This gonna make you feel you're not gonna think about none of that shit when you listen to this, though. I ain't gonna hold you.
When I eventually get to it, though, AB, because I still gotta download some fucking site. I gotta put my credit card number in. I gotta find out how to listen to it without it cutting off when my phone closed and all this old man bullshit that I deal with technology. So I get that. I want to read you guys something that's worse than what I said. What you about to say?
I was real quick. I was going to say, I understand that's the trade-off when you're a creator, when you're a content creator, when you want to go direct to consumer, the trade-off is it may not be on a platform that's already, on people's phones. You may have to do a workaround. When you're Kanye, you may have to sell a device that people have to buy. When you're Cole, you may have to go through your own website that may or may not. Huh?
Is it worth it?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. because it's smart in a lot of ways as the creator because you're getting data because you're going direct to consumer, which is data is gold. So nigga, if everything's shut down today, if Instagram shut down, if you just said he uses his social for promotion and all that, if that shit shut down today, he got your phone number of the people who are real true. I fuck with Code a long way. He can still deal with them on a one-on-one basis. I suggest content creators pay attention to the way he's doing this because it's smart and you may be able to use it in your own stuff.
And I ain't gonna hold you. Cole is the type of person that he only wants this in the hands or the ears of people that actually are genuinely gonna care.
That's true.
I've had enough internet trolling about what happened with the beef and the whole nine. If I'm giving this much of my personal self out there, I wonder for people who are really gonna appreciate it, who's gonna take the time to do all of that versus all this other bullshit. And for all those out there, if you want a good laugh, go to YouTube and rewind when Lou found out that you had to pay for this. His face was priceless.
That's hilarious.
All right, I want to read something to y'all. Shout out to Nick, friend of the show. Y'all have heard him here before. Nick is about 31, 32.
Okay.
And shout out to Q, contributor to Dead End Sports. Dead End, he's about 28, 29, I want to say. So I just want to read to y'all and get y'all reaction.
The young boys.
What they said. Right. This is what the young boys are saying. Nick says, Q, when the stock of these light-skinned rappers goes down, they always bring up the past and how they came up to become that nigga. Drake did it with 100 gigs, and now Cole's doing it with a podcast. This is Q's response to it. Laughing my ass off. This is insane levels of damage control. Remember when I was coming up? Remember the memories? Guys, please don't cancel me. He put in quotation marks with an exclamation point. Then Nick responds to Q. Q, this nigga went back to talking about how inspirational Kanye was to him and how he helped him be the rapper who he is today. Man, it's 20 niggas that got that same story. We don't give a fuck anymore. That's what the young niggas is saying about this audio series. Listen, I just want y'all old head niggas to know.
Let me inform the young niggas. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's called a rollout. This is what we used to do back in the day when artists had projects coming. They would plot out months and sometimes years in advance what it would look like when it was time to put something out, because there's a lot of moving parts you got to get this shit going. You can't just wake up and have your own website with your own player, with your own information captured. You can't do that. This takes time. And ironically, they talked about this in the first episode. The origin of this of the concept came in the pandemic when it was quarantined. And they couldn't go nowhere. And Cole asked his manager to see if he can find an old song that he did on the laptop. And he said when he was going through the laptop, he found old songs. And while they were going through the old songs, Cole was telling him, oh, that's great. They started reminiscing and talking about it. And they was like, yo, you know what would be dope? And now we get this 4 years later. That's how these things work. And I know if you're in your 20s, you don't know nothing about a rollout because nobody does it anymore. But that's what this is. Surprise Q, there will be a brand new album at the end of this. I know it's crazy, and it's supposed to be his last album. So I think the stories are more tied to this being his last album than it is a beef that he really went in to begin with. And the Kendrick glazing is at an all-time high, and it's really getting on my fucking nerves, basically what I'm saying.
Of course it would.
Cats don't remember the MTV Diary, making a video, TRL trips, 106 and Park trips at all. Everybody was on their press run. It's almost like the same way people promote movies. Now, I will say this to Nick and Q's point. Shout out to Nick, man, Cincinnati. To Nick and Q's point, if there is no album at the end of this,
okay, then that's different.
Then I can 100% agree with what they're saying. It does look a little bit like Damage Control. Like, don't forget who I am. I'm still J. Cole. Sometimes when you put yourself in the corner, you got to stay in the corner for a little while. Don't come back until you have actually something productive to give us. I think this is productive by itself. Me personally, I don't need the album with this, but I'm also a 37-year-old man who grew up on J. Cole since the time he came out. So this is geared more towards me than it would be for Nick or Q. So I get it. I understand their perspective.
The Kendrick gobbling is at an all-time high, and it's disgusting. Everything is not because of Kendrick, dude. J. Cole took a shit. Man, Kendrick got these niggas taking bowel movements. Like, come on, bro. Stop, man. It's getting out of hand, y'all.
Boogeyman here, nigga.
That shit crazy. Next up, man, an artist who we thought was coming out in 2024 Just confirmed you can cancel Christmas. Cardi B says in 2025 she's got two goals: drop the album and get a new boyfriend.
Yo,
Lou, I'm starting with you. Was this expected, or are you a little bit let down?
this was expected. I think we talked about it a couple of times here. Like we talked about it recently today with Lil Baby. I don't got to rap, bro. Like we just seen Rihanna. Rihanna was like, well, God's called. Like, no, Savage Fenty is calling you. It ain't God. I promise. It's not. It's not. It's not God. It's the $1 billion Savage Fenty deal that you're eating off of. And you realize that I'm Rihanna and I ain't gonna go in here and try to make shit, have a producer correct me, take time to write songs that I hope that you motherfuckers like. I already got a product that produces $1 billion in revenue on a yearly basis that I ain't got to worry about if you like it or not. Same thing with Cardi. I can go out here and just be Cardi B and do commercials and do features, and it takes a lot less of my time than it does, and a lot less of my mental output as far as trying to put together an album. I can do features. I can go do my Cardi B thing as far as I'm on late night at whatever and Saturday Night Live and whatever it may be and get paid millions of dollars for these appearances. And it just doesn't make sense for me to take 6 to 8 months out of my year to record an album and then hope that you people like it. And if you don't, you get to put me in another category, not high as I was before I put this album out. The risk is not worth the reward for all the business people out there. Like it doesn't make sense to her. So she's going to keep delaying this until she finally gets enough balls to be like, I'm not doing another album. Like that's where we've come to with her. Like she's big enough as a star now. She's like she can come and tell the label like whatever the money hit gonna be, it's gonna be it. But I'm not doing another album, and I don't think that she would lose any popularity behind it. I can get up here and still do speeches for Kamala Harris. I can still do all of these things where I'm relevant in the light, and no one is going to care. Like I'm sure she has core true fans, but if there's never another Cardi B album, like hip hop is not going to be let down. So I think she might as well just rip the band-aid off instead of prolonging and acting like it's coming to people one day. That's what's going to get her out of favor with people more so than just letting people know, like, bro, I'm not doing this shit no more. I would respect it more if she said that.
Rich, what you got?
Don't leave when you hot. That's how May screwed up. April 2018 was the last time we had a Cardi album, man. We're not getting one. I specifically remember March of this year being in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know if it was a current episode. I was doing an on deck run. I was listening to back catalog. So it was either that week or behind. Y'all specifically talked about this. So you had a guest on. I think Nick might have been on the episode. And y'all talked about whether or not Cardi was going to drop an album this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think AB said it at the time. We are not seeing a Cardi album. Spike, you might have said it. It might have been both of y'all. Yeah. This is not a surprise at all. Joe Budden caught hell for saying that Cardi wasn't going to drop an album this year. Yep. Like she's not in that phase of life. Her money, her stream of income does not come from rapping. She's not inspired by it. It just sucks because when she puts out features, they slap you like, damn, when the next Cardi album going? And like you said, Spike, if you ain't got no plans on it, just say it. I'm not dropping music, y'all. It's not in my plans. It's not in my books. Don't expect it. Let's just keep it moving and call it a day. But I'm not shocked at this at all. She would have been followed this up. She hasn't even toured with Invasion of Prophecy.
Nope.
It's insane.
And that's the thing. I know we're saying there's no money. I mean, well, we're saying that the risk is not worth the work. She still got the Invasion of Prophecy tour on deck. There's definitely a large bag at the end of the yellow brick road for that, for sure, really if she quickly decided to do that.
Before you get into your bag, I got 3 kids, divorced.
Yeah.
Would you go do a 25 to 30 tour? Like, am I putting myself through that? And I know it's Cardi B. Yeah. I know she first class everywhere. I know there's not a lot that she's going to have to deal with being on tour like other artists.
It still work, though. Let's be clear.
It's going to work, but would you do it, though?
No, I'm saying there's still work involved. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
She look at it like Lil Baby looking at it. I feel like I don't like, bro. I'm not giving y'all 30 nights out of my life for 4, 5, 6 months straight and being on the road every night and subjecting myself to bad food and bad health where I can't take care of myself when I could be at the crib and I could show up at Jimmy Kimmel and they just gave me $1 million. Like I'm not doing it. Like I get it. So I don't think even the tour is in the sights.
I'm not. I think there's a price for everything. And I understand it seems daunting, but if that check got enough zeros on it, then she's going to be like, well, hey, gas up the jet because let's go. But in terms of the album, of course, no one's surprised. You know what I'm saying? Like, there may have been an inkling that I hoped that this was the year, maybe a little bit of wishful thinking. It's a renaissance with the ladies hip hop right now. Glorilla dropped a solid project. Megan dropped two. Lotto's project was solid. Rhapsody shit going. Shay Noir shit going. Like there's if there was ever a time, it would be now, but now it just kind of seems like the pool is a little too packed. And I don't know if she likes the competition, bro. Like I don't know what it is. I think Joe Budden might have alluded to that. I can't remember. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it doesn't seem like she wants to come outside because everybody's outside. And that's a little bit of a letdown because she is one of the biggest artists to kind of spearhead this new wave. And it would be nice for her to come outside and prove the haters wrong. But I like an underdog story. I think people are now looking at her like, man, she can't do it. And I think it would be dope for her to come out and do it again. Like, I think that should be ill. But the pump fakes are getting out of control though. Like I
Here's
get
what
I get all that shit, but this shit looking nasty, bro. It's almost like she having kids, so she ain't got to put out an album, bro. That's what it look
That's
like.
crazy. That's insane. That's insane. That's AB. Add him
It
at
is.
Animal Brown underscore like y'all know.
Facts.
Please
Facts,
remove me
nigga.
from that. But what Joe was alluding to, and I think this makes a lot of sense, is she doesn't want to lose the status that she gained from that first album. And what happens is if I put out the second album and it's not as hot, which is damn near impossible,
Right, yes. Yeah.
damn near going to be impossible to surpass that first album. Now I have to take us. Now I'm not a first class celebrity as I was because I put out this album. So there's a lot to lose here. So I could get her being anxious or nervous about it, but I don't know. We'll never see the album because again, I don't think she wants to lose the status. And I think Joe
That's
was
fair.
right when he said it, and it doesn't make sense for her because I have enough personality to ride this album off into the sunset. One and done.
Possibly.
Lauren Hill me.
Possibly. We'll see. Cause she got joints, bro. Like I heard she did like a New Year's show in like Miami, and I think I forgot where I was headed, but I had it on satellite radio, and so I'm in the car for about 30 minutes. Man, she had
She got a good
song
20.
after song after song. And I was like, damn,
Hey,
I didn't really realize it. I was like,
Cardi
oh yeah, she good.
with one album, Cardi will be a problem in the verses
I
for
agree.
a
If we
lot
count
of people.
features and shit, yeah, for sure.
We count features, like we count features, and I'm
Yeah, oh
talking
yeah,
about
she'll be
male
a
or
problem.
female. Yeah, male or female, she would be a problem for a
I
lot of
agree.
people. Yeah.
That shit crazy. What we got, man?
All right, next, before we get into these wins and these losses, AB, there's a rumor going around that's particularly interesting for people of our age and of our hip hop status. Hove, they said Hove may be dropping a brand new album in 2024. That means in 2 months, guys, we may hear something new from the God
1
MC.
month.
Yeah, like between now and the end of the year, 6 weeks, nigga. So I want to know, and also they're claiming that there may be a diss track on here. Two questions here. One, would you guys be here and excited for a Hove album? Two, would that Hove album consisting of a diss track make it more appetizing to you?
I'm taking this. Listen, first of all, this came from academics. The same person who tried to show somebody that got paid by Kendrick's team to bot Twitter. Look, man, listen to the message that this person says. I am at a New York rapper only private Rock Nation karaoke event. You lost me right there. Bro, what the fuck is a New York rapper only? Who the fuck is in this Uncle Murder nigga and fucking
Mano, Jim
cannabis nigga? Like what the
Jones.
fuck? What are you
I'm
talking
t-
karaoke event? And Hove
uh,
got up there and did Ether Part 2 or whatever. Man, get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm already out on this. But it says word on the street, Hove got a new album, including a diss song. This is the anonymous messenger. Bro, if it's a slow news day, just let it be a slow news day. You don't have to post. What is this shit, bro? First of all, don't get me gassed up because I want to hear the shit. And we talked about this on the show. If Hove does, he's got all the ammunition in the world for 5 diss songs just off of the
yeah.
Super Bowl shit and how people reacted to that. So hell yes, I'd want to listen to that. And Hove is the king of addressing current events. Like he's the king of that shit and being spot on with it and flipping it to his favor and making it sound really, really good. So yes, I would want to hear the song. I would be interested to hear the album as well. I think he would come from a creative standpoint in terms of he's not going to put something out for the sake of putting something out. He's doing it because he wants to. So I would want to hear that. He has no obligation to. You want to talk about Cordae not having to do shit. Jay ain't got to do a motherfucking thing. So lay up and fucking spoon with Beyonce all day. So if he's actually in the studio putting in work, then that means he got something that he wants us to hear. So yes, I would be here for it. But this anonymous private Rock Nation New York rapper only karaoke event, bro, come on. You had to have Tim's to get in, my nigga, like in fucking Sean John velour suits, nigga. Like, fuck out of here. I'm good. That didn't even happen. I don't give a fuck what he talking about.
Your Queen's brethren gonna be hot at you.
Shout
Which
out
what say
QE.
you?
Hey man, well, not everybody. Everybody knows Jay's my favorite rapper. Following Jay his whole career. If you know anything about Jay, this is all false. You know what I mean? At this point in his career. Now, I will say this, to quote Hove, even a garbage can gets a steak. It might not be untrue that he might be getting that itch to get back. I think the last time he talked about this was that sit down with Gayle King during the Book of Hove, asking, are you going to make more music? He said, as long as I have something to say and it makes sense. I think that people they've had his name in their mouth on the internet streets long enough to where I think he's ready to address some of this. When he talked about 444 and that whole process, it just kind of started out of nowhere, piece by piece. Then the next thing you know, 4 or 5 songs done, and you in that creative space. I think that's where he is in life right now. Do I think he has a diss song? Once again, to quote Jay-Z, it's not a diss song, it's just a real song. I think there are things he's going to say to address a lot of the bullshit, but he's not looking at it as a diss. He's looking at it as, I have a real life that I have to go about, and every time I wake up, y'all niggas get front page articles for mentioning Jay-Z name.
Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that.
You know what I mean?
Mention Jay-Z name.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to take the time to release a project just to address that. That would be a feature verse. That'll be 32 bars on whoever's song or whatever he needs to get off. But if he does have something where, hey, I want to say some things and this is what's been going on in my life, I can see that happening. But he's never been motivated just by disses. You know what I mean? Never been motivated by disses. So I don't see it. Would it shock me if by 2025 he rolls something out? And think about this. Magna Carta Holy Grail came out 2013. That was a quick rollout. That was a Samsung commercial doing the NBA Finals saying we dropping the album July 4th. 444 little mysterious billboards going around. It took like 3 days for them to figure out what was going on. The Jay Electronica surprise drop. The Carter's surprise drop. Like, he's not doing rollouts like that to where this would even be a thing. And if there was a Roc Nation karaoke night, let me tell you who wasn't there. Jay-Z. So whoever said that shit is bullshit.
You imagine Jay-Z hopping up on the karaoke stage?
Absolutely
like, what the fuck
not.
are we talking about, bro? If he did put an album out, I'm here for it. Yep, I want to hear it. 100%. I want to hear him address the Super Bowl critics, the NFL critics. The Nas has a better record discography than me now critic because he was with Hit Boy, and I would love to hear him talk about all that, but just as Rich said, that's a 32 bar feature on the next Khaled album. Like, that ain't a full Jay-Z album. Would I be here for the Jay-Z album? Absolutely. I want to hear it, but do I think this is happening? I don't think that he's in a space as to where I'm going to sit down and creatively get in a bag and drop a whole album. Even with the 444, like you said, those songs just came about. We sitting at the kitchen table and you can tell from the quality of it. Like, I think he said he recorded some of the songs just sitting at the kitchen table with the mic and like halfway talking, halfway rapping. And then that's where you get that type of flow that he ran with on 444. Just like we talked about with Cordae, just like we talked about Rihanna, like, dude, like, wow, I don't even know if I would take my time to do this. I'm brokering deals with the NFL on Monday, and I got this to do on Tuesday. Trying to get this shit back from Dame. I got a casino I'm trying to build in fucking Times Square. Nigga, who knows what else that we don't know about? Is just like I don't know if a rap, like, it gets more and more far-fetched for these artists that reach his scale, Rihanna's scale, Cardi's scale, to sit back and really actually put their time into a hip-hop album. Like, it just seems far-fetched that they would be able to do that. And not that I'm diminishing our culture or what hip-hop is, it's just they have so much more going on and what it takes as far as you putting your everything into an album. Like, we come from a time when motherfuckers, like, everything else is stopping, nigga. I'm gonna work on this album, and I don't know that these people that we've mentioned this episode have time to do that, including Jay-Z in this topic. Like, when is he gonna take time out? Even if you said, like we were talking about, Rich, Blueprint took a weekend. But do Jay-Z got a weekend at this point in his life? Like, nigga, I'm over here with B. We finna do the halftime show on Christmas, and I'm putting
Right.
this play together. Like, I ain't got time to sit here and go over vocals and have niggas punch me in and try to think of cool hooks and shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about none of that, nigga. Like, so I would love it as a Jay-Z fan, just like Rich said. I'm diehard Jay-Z fan, probably my first, second best rapper on my list, depending on what day you ask me between him and T.I. But I just don't know that he would take time out to do this, and I don't think he would. So no.
There was heavy rumors at the top of the year that 2024 was going to be the year that he comes. Stop, bro. Just stop.
Like,
Let's
why?
stop.
Why would I do that?
Let's stop. Let's just stop the rumors, the talk, and just if it happens, if we wake up one day and see the eighth wonder of the world or whatever the fuck he's gonna call it in Roman numeral billboards across the country, then we can start talking. Up until then, man, we straight. I'm just going. I'm not counting on that at all. If it
Now,
happens, I'm here for it though.
if you haven't noticed by now, the Jay-Z Rock Nation camp, that close-knit circle, there are no leaks.
Yeah,
Like you
it's
will not
quiet.
know. Everybody keeps everything tight-knit. The last time there was a rumor, TMZ had egg on their face talking about Beyonce was going to be performing at the DNC.
Yeah,
Like I don't know
Did
where
not
they
happen.
get that stuff. Do not listen to any rumor you hear. They don't operate that. He hasn't operated like that since '96. It just kind of is
facts.
what it is.
Before we get out of here, man, last thing, as this will be our last episode, we will not have until Thanksgiving. We won't have another one up until Thanksgiving. So we want to close this episode with what you are most thankful for in the hip hop game in 2024. Lou, I'll start with you. What you got?
For me, what I'm most thankful for in the hip hop game in 2024, man, I really hope this one, my one last year, I don't remember, but I just recently listened to an interview with Killer Mike and Cam Newton. And Killer Mike was talking about his perspectives, how that album Michael came about, and we'll talk about it more as Rich went to the show recently. So I think this is perfect. Like Killer Mike is, man, I'm thankful for him being in hip hop at this age. I'm thankful that he wasn't like fuck it when the first run with Outkast went and came, and or that I seen success with Run the Jewels and it being kind of a rock band slash rap band and just completely catered to that side of it because that's where I've seen the most success. I'm thankful that he didn't give up on hip hop and continue to contribute with that Michael album, with the interviews that he's done, sharing his perspectives about the young people in the game. Like I'm thankful for Killer Mike and Glorilla. Glorilla, I feel like I had to throw that in there because that just popped to me when I was talking. But the authenticity that she shows, I feel like is similar to what he shows when he's talking about himself. If y'all ain't listened to that Killer Mike and Cam Newton interview, please go listen to it. It's really good. Gives you some introspective on how he thinks, the way he thinks about how he's seen black people in Atlanta be both the good people role and the villain roles, why he has his relationship that he has with cops, mayors, whatever it may be. It's really fucking good. But that and seeing somebody in hip hop like Glorilla, who people tried to count out, and she stayed her authentic self, continued to work and do what she needed to do in the lab. And now I feel like this is everybody's favorite right now. She's the people's champ. So for me in 2024 is Killer Mike and Glorilla, I'm thankful for.
Respect that. What you got, Rich?
Thankful for Doechii, man. Thankful for Doechii. That
Hey, B hate
Doechii
that.
was, yeah, Doechii. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I knew who Doechii was, but I wasn't like a fan or anything like that. I never really checked out too much for projects or music. But I'll never forget the first time listening to this in the car and thinking like, "Oh snap, what's this?" I'm officially, and I'll admit it, I'm into my old nigga stage. I'm into that phase that realizes I understand why my parents only listen to Motown and the stuff they listen to. 'Cause when I look at my playlist, it's not too much new stuff. But to have somebody that kind of had a fresh sound that I wasn't suspecting come through with, it made me a little bit excited about hip hop again. I thought it was dope. I just like that, the breath of fresh air. And to let me know that there is a younger generation that does take this seriously. It's not a money grab for everyone. They are some creators. And it's not just her. There are a lot of other artists. But even some of the older acts that I think just got back in their bag, man, Stabbed and Shot too, Special Benny. Like there are people
Fire.
that I was like, man, you kind of, are you gone Freeway? Freeway dropped an incredible project this year. My boy Gibbs, who I want to talk about here in a second, he dropped again. And they just take the art of rap seriously. Also, thankful for that Hot Boys reunion.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thankful for that Hot Boys
They
reunion,
doing another
man.
one.
Hey, yeah, whatever you need to do, man. I'm glad to see You know what I am? The overall thing that I want to say. I'm glad to see things like Beanie Siegel having a food truck. I'm glad to see things like Jadakiss on a school bus with a bunch of elementary student kids. I love seeing the rappers from our era when I was young be able to grow old, live a regular life, and still get their flowers, sort of like the Hot Boys reunion. And just remind people, like, man, there was somebody that laid the ground for what you stand on today. I think all of that is dope. I'm thankful for all of that in 2024. And I hope everybody else continues to grab them in.
I'm with
Pass
you.
the baton, should I say.
I'm thankful for the veterans. Common shocked me with his project.
Mm.
LL was rapping his ass off on his project. That shocked me. I was surprised at that. I'm of course I'm thankful for the competitiveness that I think that was brought back in hip hop this year with the greatest beef of all time.
Mm.
Like that, just that moment. That's what the year is going to be remembered by. Where songs drop, you're like, oh, what happened? Like everything stopped. Everything stopped. Play the song. I need to get to it. Where is it at? It's on IG. It's on YouTube. How do I get to it? Let me hear. I don't want to hear the snippet, nigga. Play the whole fucking song. Like, nigga, I'm breaking this shit down to my gal. Niggas calling my phone, blowing up. Like, shit like that. Obviously, huge moment for hip hop. And then also, I like the behind the scenes shit. I thought the 100 gig shit was cool. I think
Of
this
course
Cole
you
shit
did.
is cool. Looking behind the curtain, showing the making of projects with artists that I respect that have been doing it for a very long time is dope. This is why it's important to document shit. Like the 100 gig shit was pulling video footage from 2017, 2015, 2030. Like that's cool because you never know what things will turn out. And looking back at it, it just kind of puts everything into perspective. So I'm here for all of that, amongst many other things. I think this year was a little bit of a sleeper in terms of like you could say it's not very top heavy in terms of like projects, like big A-list projects, but I think there's enough. There's too many people that rap for it not to be enough music for you, me, him, her to pull and grab, walk away with 5 or 6 dope projects from.
And real,
Facts.
did you already answer Spike? My bad.
I did, but
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
2 more just real quick before since they weren't mentioned before we did
All
it.
right. I'll say it after you.
Okay, mine, since everybody failed to do it here, the king of hip hop this year, I would be remiss not to mention our guy Kendrick Lamar and Not Like Us and the anthem that happened, the Amazon, like, oh, it was all great. Dancing on Drake grave for 20 minutes was fantastic. Playing Not Like Us 15 times in a row. All of that was fucking amazing. And I'm thankful I got to see that firsthand in hip hop this year. So
No doubt. Quick shout out to Bodie James. Cross the
mm,
Tracks, man. Incredible project this year. One of those people that you forget is a veteran. He's been doing this since the blog
facts.
era when he was
Yeah.
new during then and they still putting out stuff. And also, man, on some real shit. AB Spike Lou. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all contributions to hip hop. Y'all been doing this for a long time.
Thank you.
As soon as I started listening, it has been a weekly fixture. I'm known for texting Spike Lou if I wake up on a Wednesday and don't see the episode, like, yo, where the episode at? I mentioned I was in Phoenix, Arizona, just listening and doing backlogs and all types of stuff because I've said this before to both of you. It's a time capsule, man. If I need to go to August of 2016 and see what was going on in hip hop, man, I could go back to the episode of On Deck and see exactly what was going on and remember things that I forgot about in the whole nine. Y'all put in work every single week. As a podcaster, I know it is not easy. There are other things you could do, especially as a grown man. So shout out to y'all, man, for continuing to feed the streets. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Thank you.
that,
Definitely
man. And don't
appreciate
forget,
that, man.
Bodie James dropped 2 this year. That penalty of
He
leadership
did.
came out earlier this year was fire.
Yeah,
And he's got the Brictionary coming out this weekend with Harry Fraud.
he had that Trapper's Alley too.
Yeah, he been
Did y'all
working.
judge him a little bit for dating old gal, Amanda Seals?
Amanda Seals.
I caught, that caught me off guard. I didn't see that
I
one
kind of
coming.
I kind of judged him a little bit.
I didn't
Like,
because she
I
said that
did.
she said he owed her money,
He
and
did.
I thought about that line where he said "fuck a bitch out of her 401k."
Yeah, hey,
Shout out to
listen,
Bodie. He from Detroit, man.
he
Bodie
living
from
his
Detroit.
raps, bro.
Yeah,
Good point. Good
hey,
point.
Bodie from
Good
Detroit, man.
Touche.
Gotta get it to him.
Say, man, that is true, man. All right, man, to get in these wins and these losses before we get out of here, the first win or a loss, we got Mark Zuckerberg. He is going to link with T-Pain to remake Get Low.
Hey,
Ugh.
listen,
That bullshit already out.
yeah, it's
Hey,
already
D,
out.
is that a win or a loss, guys?
Listen, Can you imagine the look on T-Pain's face when he opened up his email and it was a request from the nigga who created Facebook and he wants you to do a song? Nigga, do you know how much I would have charged? I would have
I was finna say,
smacked the
nigga, you
shit
hey,
out of Mark
you
Zuckerberg.
mentioned you mentioned 3-6 earlier, nigga. You know what have been playing in my head? We some head busters. We some head busters, nigga. I would have busted his head. Woo, nigga.
Nigga,
God.
that reply would have been disgusting.
Jeez. And
And
I
he'd
already
been
got
like,
the
all right,
contract drip. No facts. And he wouldn't even sweated it, nigga. He would have thought that's normal business.
it's a
I'd have
big
busted his
W.
dome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
dub
dope.
for T-Pain, L for Mark Zuckerberg. We know T-Pain about his bag. This nigga got to deal with rallies. I ain't never
I
heard of that
seen that.
shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So he about his bread, like you said. I hope he charged him to the moon. It's an L for Mark Zuckerberg though, because when you hear the backstory of what it was for
His girlfriend
and
or his
how,
wife?
yeah, his
Yeah.
wife and the first time they met, the Get Low was going on in the club. I'm just from the ilk of not
What?
everything. Yeah. Listen, whatever.
It was on the
I'm just
radio, I
from
think.
yeah,
Oh
it was on
my
the
God,
radio.
that's
They was at the
crazy.
club, whatever it was. That's when he met her. That's like the first song they ever heard together.
Yeah.
I'm of the
I
ilk
wouldn't
of
have
not everything is for public consumption. Sometimes just leave that shit for your wife, man. Do something sweet for your wife.
Yeah.
Call it a day. The fact that I heard this shit, that's an L for
It was
me and everybody
ass.
else.
It sounded
Yeah.
terrible.
That would have
It
just had to
reminded
be
me of
me and my
the
wife thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
it,
saying. You get cool points at
Yeah.
the crib.
at the
Facts.
crib, man. I ain't had to hear this. You ain't have to post this on social media, the whole nine. You could tell people that exist, but we ain't have to hear it. But shout out to T-Pain, man. I really hope he got that bag.
In 7 years, T-Pain gonna tell us how much he got for this. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
he gonna, he
I
gonna
would
say it
have
on the podcast, bro.
I would have busted his head.
I would have been so disrespectful in that reply.
Man, listen, bro. All right, next. A fan gives Big Sean his entire phone with beats on it from 2015. Is this a win or a loss, AB?
This is a supreme L. And then Big Sean was gassing like, yeah, I'm gonna check him out, bro. I'm gonna check him out. Nigga, he punted that motherfucker as soon as Buddy walked off, nigga. Trust and believe. He kicked that phone as he at least 30 yards, nigga, in the air. Bros. And the dude was, bless his heart, man. Like he was like, I've been working on this. I've been trying to get you this for them old ass beats, nigga. I'm over here that shit, bro. And then if you got some fire on that, ain't gonna do but jacket, man. Fuck, bro. It's a lose-lose, bro. Fuck that. It's a double
Rich,
L.
Rich, what you say?
I gotta give homie a dub. It is an L because it's from 2015. I don't know how much of that is gonna be relevant, but I'll tell you this: reading the headline and seeing that video are two different things. If I just read it, it'd be one thing. But the way he approached it, it was really on some humble. Like I literally, I'm telling myself, if I ever had the opportunity to meet you, I got beats for you. I came up here. I just wanted to give them to you. Hopefully you like it. He didn't want anything out of it.
That's true.
I can always appreciate that when people just come on the humble. I thought this is cool. I thought about you when I made this. However,
2015 is nuts, though.
2015 is kind of crazy.
I wouldn't even
I ain't
said
gonna hold
that.
you.
I'd be like, I made these yesterday.
And I'm sure he had to think to himself, and it's funny because me and Spike, we did best episode ever for Entourage. There was an episode where Johnny Drama was trying to get a Rush Hour 3, and he started gassing the ego of Brett Ratner, talking about some man, you didn't take no for an answer when you tried to get an NYU film school. Spielberg funded your first thing. He probably remembers. Big Sean's the same nigga that was in the mall radio station, rapping for Kanye. He might respect this gesture because he did the same thing.
True.
So because of that, if that was all his intent, I got to give him a dub for it just because he didn't look like he wanted something for it. However, don't expect to hear none of your tracks on the new Big Sean album.
This a L, man. Hopefully that was a dummy phone. Hopefully that was like the backup phone, the secondary iPhone. Like, but giving a nigga my phone with the beats from 2015, like again, I would have never mentioned it. I have some beats for you. They're not 10 years old. Don't think that. Like these are new beats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to give it an L too. Pusha T launches a coffee brand called Grinding Coffee, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Win or a loss, Rich?
It's a my bad. I was gonna say it's a win, but this is following a trend of people being 10 years too late with a lot of their stuff. Wale had the Lotus Flower Bomb perfume fragrance joint, which would have hit crazy when the song was hot, even though it makes sense. This makes a ton of sense, but it's 15 years late. I guess if it works, it's better late than never. And plus, everybody trying to get in the coffee business, so maybe I'm sleeping. But the name is fire though, so it makes perfect sense. I don't even know if he drank coffee, but branding wise, it's on point. It's a W, but it's a late W.
I'm about to say, I think I must have missed something with the whole coffee movement. It feels like the cannabis movement because everybody's got the coffee. Jada Kids, the whole nine. I think other people have.
Jimmy
There's
Butler.
gotta he's gotta have like a push of tea on the menu. You gotta sell tea and call
Oh,
it
the
push
tea,
tea.
yeah, you gotta have that.
Like that, you have to. Like
You gotta
that's
have
just
that.
that's a layup. That's right there. It's
Yeah.
almost so it's so obvious that it's kind of corny. Like that's how obvious that is. You got to have
Yeah.
that on there. Grinding coffee is dope. It's a dub for him getting into different business ventures. Obviously, I think Pusha T is smart. I don't think he would have done this if there wasn't like some lucrative opportunities or some kind of growth, or if it's just as simple as a steady stream of income. You know what I mean? I don't know what the rollout is. I don't know if he's trying to expand world. I don't think this should be that. It should be very boutique, one in the country,
Facts.
be a tourist spot.
You gotta
the whole
find it.
nine.
You gotta find this. Yeah, like
I
this ain't a
agree.
Starbucks, nigga. It's at the
Absolutely.
other
Absolutely.
coffee house. Last
This is
winner or loss
crazy.
before we get out
real
of
quick,
here.
you know how many people have coffee brands right now, bro? You would be
Yeah.
shocked.
It's great. It's damn near like it's more probably saturated in the liquor business at this point.
That's the new liquor business, bro.
Yep.
Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ralph
Jimmy
Lauren,
Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Like, bro, what? Machine Gun Kelly has coffee, bro. What the fuck? Okay, my bad. Go
Crazy.
ahead.
It's insane. And you can go over there and get like the beans direct and all that shit. They got all the farms. We can go buy them direct and do all that different shit. I was watching a Vice special on it one time. It's insane. Last one, extra winner or loss, AB. We have an update on the G Unit Studios that are based in Louisiana. What is that? Shreveport, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shreveport.
Yeah, Shreveport had some laws changed, and I'm believing due to the elections, and the 50 G Unit studios are in jeopardy of not opening. Guys, is that a win or a loss?
Yeah, obviously it's a loss. The tax cuts, the tax laws are on the table to be changed. I think they got to pass one more place, and they will cut the 40% tax break that he was going to get for building this facility. He is now on the campaign of what this was going to mean for the local economy because there was some housing that was going to go along with it. He had big plans for this. And we even talked about how this was going to be a really big play. He was on his Tyler Perry shit. I thought it was in the bag already. Apparently not. Clearly not, because it's in jeopardy now of not happening at all. And that just means he'll just pick another place, in my opinion. But the reason he came to Shreveport was because of the tax laws. They were tax friendly, but that may be changing, and this may be a Reynolds wrap. So it's an L, but he'll just pick it up and take it someplace else.
Yeah, it's definitely an L. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Did he break ground, or did he actually? Is there a building already there?
He bought
the building was there.
He bought a
He
building.
bought it, okay, but he hasn't actually made it to studio. All right, then cool. It's not
He
as
didn't
big as
have
an
to
L as
build.
I thought. Because
Yeah,
I
he
was
had
about
to
to say you
build
would have
it.
known that was happening before you picked that location. I think it's a
That was the-
surprise to everybody.
That
know
was
it's
the
gotta go to
reason
the
that he
Senate
picked the
floor.
location that he said, as a matter of fact. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was the reason he said on Breakfast Club, the reason that he chose the location that he did is because of the tax breaks. And it's funny that no one told him that this was on the ballot to be changed for November.
That's what's
Like, I don't
that's
understand it.
That's the biggest L. He too sharp of a businessman to not know
Yeah.
that, and I don't think he would even entertain the idea had he known this was a possibility, even
Somebody
if it
got
was
fired.
a 20% possibility. But on the other hand, this is what happened when you hate on Hove and for no reason, just throw subtle shots, man. Karma comes back at you heavy. Now you got to pick
Facts.
up, lose some M's and keep going, man.
Facts. You're surprised. Like somebody got fired. If I know 50,
sure.
somebody got fired. 100%. All right, what we got for On Deck of the Week, AB?
On Deck of the Week, we on YouTube. Shout out to Buster McGee. He said, I was 1 second away from typing Taylor Swift before AB said it, referring to the top 25 pop stars of the 21st century. And then shout out to the one Shocker. He said, in regards to the Hot Boys reunion, I'm shocked they didn't ask 106 in Park Roxy, as she was raised in New Orleans and had that fraudulent New York accent. That's funny. But if it was a Wu-Tang reunion show, I'm sure not only would they have 3 people from New York, but all 3 would have been from Staten Island. So that, of course, is in reference to last week when thought it made no sense to have 3 people from New York or from the East Coast on the pre-show to the Hot Boys reunion in New Orleans. I thought that was strange. They couldn't find one person from the South in media to do it. But anyway, that's just get off my media lawn. But salute to the one Shocker and Buster McGee for the comments. We appreciate you. Put us on, Rich. Tell us about this Killer Mike and Dave Chappelle concert and whether we need to go to it if it's still going on.
All right. Unfortunately, the Atlanta show was yesterday.
Oh
At the
shit.
time of recording, so y'all missed that one. Real quick, before I even go to the put on, I got a question I've been meaning to ask you for 2 weeks, AB. Shout out to Spike for delivering the message. Y'all talked about the Gibbs album.
Fire.
We got to start talking about Gibbs' discography. Does
It's up
Gibbs have
there.
a better? All right, so just real quick, this is just be random fire. I'm gonna ask you, AB, if his discography is better than the person I'm gonna say. Better than J. Cole.
Ooh. Yeah.
Culturalist Theory. Shout out to Culturalist Theory.
Appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Recently ranked Game's top 5 albums.
Yeah.
Sneaky underrated discography. Does Gibbs have a better discography than Game?
Nah.
It's not there yet.
I think Game got him.
Interesting.
Because his strength in numbers, he's got more numbers.
Okay. I was just really curious because this Gibbs doesn't really have a miss. And when I look at it as a whole, what you think, Freddie?
ESGN is a miss.
ESG. All right, that's
a miss.
Nothing past Bandana on, or Pinata, excuse me, Pinata on.
He's been cooking since then. He's been cooking since then.
Just to make sure I understand what you two guys are saying, y'all telling me that Freddie Gibbs has better discography than Game and J. Cole.
Nah, I say I give Game the nod, but he might have a better discography project wise than J. Cole.
So out of the 3, J. Cole would be
third place.
That's crazy.
That's pretty accurate. Let's be real. That's not a hot take.
Nah, Gibbs.
J. Cole's a better rapper.
I don't listen to Gibbs.
It's something
like
about
that, so
the
y'all
art.
might be right.
No, it's something about the way Gibbs just has a talent for making full projects.
There you go.
He just has a talent for it.
That's it.
They don't miss. But as I mentioned to you, Spike, and a whole nother thing, something about you. There's too much explaining you have to do if you're trying to get somebody on the Gibbs. You either Gibbs fan or you ain't. You can be a random J. Cole fan, but I gotta explain too many things to you to be Gibbs. But let's go ahead and talk about the put on. I asked Spike to even be on the episode because you talked about once they announced this Dave Chappelle Killer Mike tour, I bought tickets right away because I was like, yo, I got to see what it's about. I saw Dave Chappelle and Killer Mike earlier this year, Yellow Springs, Ohio, about 200 people, very intimate setting in Chappelle's comedy club, right? And there was a little bit of that where Chappelle did some stand-ups, maybe about 15 minutes, and then Killer Mike came on stage. This was at the Fox Theater in Detroit. It was the first night, and it was a pretty interesting setup. So it's a phone-free event, and like y'all, how are they going to do this? Opening comedian, hilarious. I think his name was Marshall Brandon. So the opposite of the football player. Marshall Brandon, check him out on Instagram. He is a funny, up-and-coming comedian. Like for somebody I never knew, I was surprised at how much I was laughing. Then you have Killer Mike come on. Now, here's the issue. And I don't know, it may be an issue, maybe not. Depending on who the headliner is, really matters on the venue. Because Dave Chappelle's the headliner. The issue is it's in the theater. Because as a comedy show, you're not trying to stand the whole time for a comedy show as you would as a standing room only concert. It works as the concert if it's standing room only. But in the Fox Theater, for people who are from a whole different generation, a whole different demographic that say, hey, I saw Dave Chappelle and that's why I'm here. It was a little bit awkward to see Killer Mike up there ripping it and 70% of the crowd in their seats. Because either A, they don't know who Killer Mike is, or they don't feel comfortable with the setting of, am I going to get up and sit down like we had a sporting event? So it was almost like I was imagining him performing at an award show, right? Where you got people in the crowd. His show, and I've seen Killer Mike, that's my third time this year seeing Killer Mike. His show works better, like most concerts, standing room only events. Right? Because even arenas, people get out of their seats, but they know they're there for a concert. People were there to see Dave Chappelle. And that's what it comes down to. So yeah, Killer Mike go. He didn't do his full set like he had in previous shows. There were a couple, he didn't even do Scientist and Engineer, which was crazy to me. All right, but like I said, it was night one, so they were trying to figure it out. Cypher Sounds came on and told some jokes. I didn't know Cypher Sounds was that funny. And then
he tried to be a comedian.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I ain't mad at him, for real. He made me chuckle a couple times. And then Dave Chappelle came on, ripped it, talked about Puff, talked about the election, talked about anything you can imagine that you think Dave Chappelle is going to talk about. He was funny, interacted with the crowd when there was like a little bit of scuttle going on. Definitely recommend. It's a unique experience. I will say you have to be fans of both of them, and you have to be fans of Dave Chappelle. Do not come for the concert. As someone who's seen Killer Mike twice this year, it's not a concert environment. You will not be disappointed. I highly recommend, especially if it's your first time seeing Mike, go see him when he's on tour by himself. All right. But his performance he kills it. The Midnight Revival, the choir that he brings with him, they're incredible. It's just not a concert atmosphere. It's not that. You're going to be waiting for the headliner.
Yeah, and that was my concern. I thought the mix of the two genres, the blend was going to be a little awkward, and but I can understand. I can see why it would feel weird.
They got something. They just got to work out some details. There's something there. It just doesn't work in the current format. And like I said, I would say, hey, move it to a smaller venue, make it a little bit more intimate. The only issue with that is nobody's standing on their feet for an hour and 10 minutes listening to Dave Chappelle tell comedy, especially with no phone or anything. Like, it's just too restless. So I don't know. I like the idea. They're doing 7 cities, and they're doing 7 cities domestically, 3 overseas. They said that if things go well and they iron out some details, they're going to extend it and make it longer. Definitely something to see, but you're going for Dave Chappelle. I'm going to be very clear about that. That is what you're going for, not for Killer Mike.
I can respect it. Lou, what you got to put me on?
I like it. My put on is a TV show. I don't know if I mentioned it. If I did, it was just a preview, but it came out. I watched the first episode, Fire, starring Billy Bob Thornton on Paramount Plus. Taylor Sheridan in his bag. If you watch Mayor of Kingstown, Yellowstone, Lioness, what's Mayor of Tulsa, whatever the fuck the name of it is. He in his bag as far as the TV shows right now, probably the hottest in the game, but he has a new one starring Billy Bob Thornton called Landmen. The first 2 episodes are out on Paramount Plus. Good television. Stars John Hamm as well. I think Demi Moore is in the 2nd episode, but I ain't got to that yet. So really good television, man. If you're looking for a new show to watch, check out Landman.
For sure. And of course, we're going long this episode, y'all, because we ain't got one next week for Thanksgiving. So we appreciate y'all hanging in with us. My put on is the Luther Vandross documentary that's in theaters right now. Never Too Much is the name of it. It has gotten 0 promotion, but it is in your local AMC and Regal, whatever it is you got near you. I thought it was very well done. You don't have to rush and go see it because more than likely it will be on streaming sites pretty soon. I think it was independently done. It was at a couple of one of those. It made like the indie circuit. It's been at the festival runs and all of that shit. But it was pretty good, man. I thought it was dope. And plus, more respect needs to just be put on Luther name, bro. Like, period. So I'm always here for that. And I didn't know his full backstory, because I'm not 80 years old. But I learned some shit. I thought it was dope. I didn't realize he was writing all of that stuff. And I also didn't know House Is Not a Home was a cover. I did not fucking know that. Do you know who did the original?
Is Dionne Warwick or one of the ladies?
It's Dionne Warwick. It is absolutely, and her version is ass.
Yes, I'm slow.
I wasn't even expecting that.
That shit is cheeks. He slaughtered it. I'm talking about his version is infinitely better.
Yeah, she had to renege her version when he put his shit up.
We don't even discuss her shit. I swear I didn't know this was a remake, and I see why. That shit is nuts. But anyway, he was cold. He's got them ballads for days. Put some respect on Luther name, man. I've been listening to this Luther shit all weekend now. That motherfucker cold.
I'm gonna check that out.
Big Luther and Lil Luther. Hey man, appreciate it. Rich, we appreciate you tapping in again. Always good having you in the 3rd chair, as always. Let people know where they can find your content, bro.
Always a pleasure to be here. Just follow me on Instagram, krich513. krich513. There's a link tree in my bio. Everything that I'm a part of, you can find it there. Also, pleasure for being on here. Appreciate y'all, brothers. And if you find time, 6 days from now, by the time you listen to this, next Tuesday the 26th, man, make sure you give my brother Spike Lou some love. Happy birthday to Spike Lou next week.
For sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, my brother. Y'all check us out on Another Week in the Books as well. Every Friday, me and Rich get to chop some good game there, some black men grown up talk. So y'all make sure y'all go check that out. Really good episode. Last episode. What's our girl? Portia. Shout out to Portia, man.
Portia's a hip hop head. They'll ever need a woman's perspective.
Come on here. Yeah.
All means, y'all can go ahead and set that up.
I fuck with Portia, man. She left a lasting impression on me.
No doubt.
Absolutely, man. Listen, y'all be safe over the holidays. Enjoy the B-Day, and we're gonna see y'all in December, man. December 3rd or December 4th. We'll be back. Shout out to Hove. He might drop. Wait a minute now.
On his birthday?
Hold on now.
Birthday?
We never know, man. But look, we'll see y'all then. Until the next time, we out.